Alright, hello. Today I'm gonna concentrate on the countries Spain, Egypt, and Tanzania. My y-axis is male industry workers percent of male labor force, and my x is crude birth rate, births per 1,000 of population. My specific country is Spain, which I'm gonna concentrate on later. Let me just show you how it developed really quickly. And yes, in Tanzania we have less data because there was obviously less data collected. We see a very sudden male industry worker uprising. This is because the state government since then has invested very much into the industry in actually state-owned companies. Therefore, there was more participation of the state. Therefore, there were more vacancies. So you can this can increase the male industry worker increase. And as Hans Rosling explained, but it's still, as you can see, it's not a lot. It's only 6.1%. And since it's only 6.1%, the rest of the population is still not making as much money. And as explained by Hans Rosling, when you have less money, you're going to have less children. I mean, you're going to have more children because there's a smaller chance that they might survive later on. This is going to explain why there's more crude birth rate per 1,000 population. For Egypt, we see a trend where it's basically going up, except for this sudden drop right here and this very sudden up right here. So this is explained by the fact that there's 21% in 1980, 26% in 2006, and as Hans Rosling once explained, the more money you have, the less children you're most probably gonna have, or that's his theory. And you can see that there's a very common trend here where the crude birth rate keeps decreasing, and this was started because there is a very sudden uprise in the industry and the percent that the male industry workers work. So this is Egypt, and specifically for Spain, I'm gonna zoom in because it's very weird. It's very weird. There's no trend. As you can see, it's a lot of different changes at a lot of times. I'm gonna start with 1980. As you can see, there's a very sudden drop. This is because in 1980, 20% of the people were unemployed, and the economy increased only with foreign or domestic companies being created in Spain. And from 1980 till 1985, where we see it goes up, there were virtually none that were created, so there was no opportunity. And if there's no opportunity, there was less people to trade with. So you can imagine that overall the market changed drastically, and that you can imagine that it decreased. They were fired. But still, it's very high compared to Egypt or Tanzania. They have 42%, and you have 38. So you still have more money. More people have more money, and there's probably going to be crude birth rate. That's why there's less crude birth rate in Spain overall than in Egypt and Tanzania in the first place. Then we see a sudden rise right here. This is explained that there were many factors. In 1985, the Spanish industry saved $260 million by replacing 500 million tons of oil consumption with coal and natural gas. The Spanish steel industry had reached a high of 14 million tons of steel produced in 1985, and there were many car models, but specifically the Ibiza model that started to be created exactly in 1985, which turned out to be the most successful as it lasted till 2007. As you can see, is the last variable. Has been the most successful car model, so there was also a part that which could have affected the rise in industry. Therefore, more people were hired, including males. But the crude birth rate still stays the same because more people make more money, so therefore the trend is that it decreases. And this is another sudden drop right here. This is from 1992. As you can see right here, there was no data for 1991. 1992 there was a Spanish property bubble where the real estate and properties tripled. As you can imagine, and that the mortgages were also tripled. So you can see that less people were able to pay, and therefore, if companies weren't able to pay either, then they probably had to go away and fire people. So you can see there's a sudden drop right here. This is 1992, and then in 1996, there's a new privatization under the conservative administration, which privatized basically almost all industrial groups. They were completely privatized. There was larger investment into these companies because of that from foreign investors, and there was a larger workforce that was employed. And to explain this actually rise in crude birth rate, the male industry workforce is explained, but the rise in crude birth rate, as we have seen in more other countries such as Czech Republic, the government encourages sometimes when you see this very sudden trend of less birth rate, they encourage people to have babies by, for example, expanded social welfare bonuses or better financing of your child, government funds. So this can explain the sudden change and actually increase. And yeah, that's my recording. Thank you very much.